Before the wild and the cats. Before the
Wild
covert
and the cats.
and the action. Covert action teams. Covert and the action. Covert and the action team.
For the covert and the covert. Cats with the covert. Action. Doesn't quite work, but we tried, damn it.
Lazor Comb.
We are not going to panic.
What the heck even happened to you, man?
Vengeance.
Shrimp Daddy! Ha 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 ha!
Give him a hockey stick!
What am I, fucking magician, man?
Am I some kind of fucking magician, man?
Fucking nerd!
Whatever. It's not like we're professionals anyway.
And I'm not sorry anymore.
Time to bake brain.
Every day, yes.
What is the Airwolf of trains?
Greetings, Covert Action Team member. Welcome to episode 115 of the Lazor Comb podcast, the show where we comb through random episodes of classic TV with a fine-tooth laser. I am Wild Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm just NeoCal, but Cal stands for Covert Action Leprechaun.
Covert
and there's
action.
a dot after the K, after the A, and after the L.
Covert Action Leader.
Covert Action Leader. There we go.
There you go.
Like Mortal Kombat, C's don't exist when there's hard K sounds.
Or in the case of the Canadian death metal band Cataclysm.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just cool. It's a cooler letter. Like it's more jagged. It's got angles.
I know I've talked about this before, but the band Cataclysm spells their name with a K, and I was really into them when I was younger. I even met a couple of members of the band back in the mid-2000s. Anyway.
Brag much. God.
I know. It was a humble brag, whatever. They were cool guys, though.
That's cool.
Because the band spells their name Cataclysm with a K, even though I know how the word cataclysm is spelled, I know it's spelled with a C. To this day, whenever I see it spelled properly, it looks wrong to me.
As it should. That's like me when I run into a Cal with a C. Could be pronounced Sal for all anybody knows how it's written. Or Chal.
Sal or Chal.
Yeah.
Chill.
Where I'm from, it's pronounced the chill.
This week on the Lazor Comb podcast, we're doing something I'm pretty excited about. It's another Patreon pick. This one comes from our longtime listener and patron, Roy. Shout out to you. But, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is... So what we're doing is we're going to be covering the main, 1990s animated shows based on Image Comics properties. So this is going to be like a programming block of it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Jared also wanted us to do this too.
Yeah.
So this
he
is
was like, hear me out a while back and kind of threw all four. What did he throw up? He threw out Wildcats.
The Max. Savage Dragon.
That's it, yeah.
And Spawn. Todd McFarlane's
Spawn.
So we're kicking this off this week with Wildcats.
So here's the fact, so we got power to the max. You know what tough as nails, when all else fails, call
Not to be confused with Wildcats.
The 1980s sports movie.
Yes. the was there was it
There
a sports
was.
movie?
I think it was a football movie, like a movie about like a high
Why do
school
I
football
remember
team.
that? Right. Yeah. Because I remember looking this up earlier and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is Wildcats. Guess I
Is
have to
this?
spell it with the period after each letter. Because they're not cats. They're covert action teams,
Yep.
which may confuse you because it's just one team, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry
It's
about
fine.
it. It's fine.
So I'm pretty excited about this because, well, I was really into comics when I was younger, particularly in the 90s and 2000s was my heyday for reading comics.
Look at this nerd.
And I read
Everyone
a lot.
listening to this reads comics.
I read a lot of Image comics back in the 90s. I read Wildcats even. I was a big fan of Wildcats. Didn't only saw a couple of episodes of the show, but I was really into the comic.
I kind of knew this existed, but I've never seen any of the episodes. Like
It was on,
which is weird because this is up my alley.
It was on periodically on Teletoon in like the mid to late 90s.
That explains it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I read a lot of Wildcats comics. I was really into Spawn. I read a little bit of Savage Dragon. Other Image properties, I was a big fan of Witchblade, The Darkness.
I only know about Witchblade because of the cosplays that permeated the internet.
There's one chick in particular, and I can't remember what her name is. I think her name starts with a J. Her name's like Joanna or something, but she cosplays Witchblade. She has like a homemade like Witchblade costume, like comics accurate one too. So basically, she's mostly naked.
Yeah, boy.
But yeah, she's been cosplaying as Sarah Pizzini, the character who wields the Witchblade since
Sarah
like the early
Pizzini.
since like the early 2010s.
Oh, so she was one of the because there's one in particular I remember going back like 15 years where one chick in particular made me go, what character is this?
Yeah,
she was popping up everywhere. So I think if I saw her, I would know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I read a lot of Witchblade when I was younger. I read a lot of The Darkness, as I mentioned.
It was
So,
Spawn.
Yeah,
Spawn for me.
yeah, I read Spawn too. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so I'm pretty excited about this because, well, I get to talk comics on this podcast about TV shows.
Well, you're just aren't you in the luck? Aren't you lucky? Because there's a TV show, like a cartoon about the comic. Now, when the intro started, because I've never seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
First I was like, oh man, this writing, because there's something like what does it say? It's like they're heroes and not zeros, or
Face the facts, we got power to the max. When all else fails.
they're heroes, not zeros. Face the fact. Yeah. But then I quickly realized, wait a second. As the show actually went on, the writing for this is fucking great. And maybe whatever with like the episode and the plot, right? But like these shows where there's a limited animation budget, right? And it's like a group of heroes fighting a group of villains or whatever. It lives or dies on its dialogue. Man,
we'll get to it, but I genuinely laughed out loud at one moment.
I watched it with my partner, and so did we.
Same moment.
Like probably the same moments. I rewinded and I'm like, can we just appreciate this? The dialogue you sent me?
Yeah.
Which we'll get there. Because I'm like, can we appreciate this this level of dialogue writing. I don't know what they were doing, but the writers, man, you guys made this.
Well,
Like,
fun fact, this episode that we're reviewing, what is it? Black Razor's Edge, which originally aired on December 10th of 1994. It is written by Bob Forward, one of the creators of Beast Wars.
oh, I know that name.
One of the creators of Beast Wars. And
Right, this was the era where like fucking everything was freelance. Yeah, the writer creator of this writing for this cartoon over here every now and then, and over there, like when we interviewed brain shutting down writer of Beast Wars Weir,
Ian Weir, yeah.
Not only is he a novelist, but like we didn't
And a slow
realize
guy.
his he was actually just really cool, easy to talk to, like that's what it was like they made money, like they're writing for everything. Like when before the interview we had brought up like his what's the word, not filmography, but well, yeah, his credits.
Yeah.
We were looking at his like credits. I'm like, holy shit, this guy like had his like hand in like everything. And here we go, Bob Forward.
Yeah, here we go.
Coincidence? Nope.
Bob Forward. So you were complimenting the writing in this episode, and well, now we know why.
Apparently, there were 3 good writers in the 90s. The rest were all working on movies. No, there's lots of good.
The rest of them were working on Power Rangers adjacent shows.
Right.
Okay, so I want to talk before we get into the episode. I want to talk a little bit about what Wildcats is, and I'll need to preface that by talking a little bit about Image Comics as a whole, whole first.
Man, that art you have as your background. Sorry, audio listeners, but like, oh, that's good.
That is artwork. Again, apologies to the audio listeners, but my background is artwork by Jim Lee, one of the co-creators of Wildcats.
Oh, it's real good.
Jim Lee made a big name for himself drawing the X-Men for Marvel. So what happened was there were a bunch of superstar comic book artists in like the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, Rob Liefeld, creator of Deadpool, who ended up creating Youngblood as his first like creator-owned book, and a handful of other people too. They decided they were tired of Marvel's like work for hire practices, and they didn't like the fact that whatever they did wasn't owned by them.
Yeah.
And so Marvel was basically told them, they're like, well, that's just the way the industry is. What are you going to do about it?
These characters are ours.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Yeah.
That's the way the industry works. What are you going to do about it? And they're like, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you the finger, and we're going to go start our own company where we own our shit. And Marvel's like, ha ha ha, that's ridiculous. They would never. Oh shit, what? They fucking did?
And
What?
people like it?
So Jim Lee's first book under
Image Comics, never heard of them.
Jim Lee's imprint, Image was and still is to this day broken up by a series of like imprints, each owned by like different people. Jim Lee's imprint was known as Wildstorm Productions. And their first book that they did was Wildcats. Now, you look at these characters,
and you might be thinking,
do they remind you of another superhero team?
Particularly a few of them. They've got their the Storm character, who's wise and from a different land and talks like this. That's the Sword Girl. Excuse me, I don't know all of their names.
Her name is Zealot. I know their names.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you.
You got their leader, which is the Cyclops type.
Spartan.
Um, at first I was like, man, he's literally he takes his mask off way too much for somebody who's trying to hide his but Grifter, um, he gives me like Star-Lord Gambit vibes.
Yeah,
Like he's
totally.
got the two guns like Star-Lord, but like he's got the coat and he just kind of wears it's not meant because everyone else's faces are mostly seen. His is more like a bandit hood, but it covers his eyes too, rather than just like
It's a
his
pretty
nose and mouth.
it's a pretty cool design for a mask, honestly. I've never really seen like a mask done
Just
like
have it
that.
hanging. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then there's
visually,
Psylocke type.
yeah, visually he's definitely like inspired by Gambit, but character-wise he's quite different.
And yeah, this we'll get to it. Like we said, we'll get to it in the episode in a second. But
Yeah, he's
there's the Psylocke type. Um,
uh are you thinking of Voodoo?
yes,
Purple?
yeah,
Purple girl? Yeah.
purple girl. But they've also got a Hulk.
Yeah, his name is Maul.
I actually, I like he doesn't say much in this like episode, but I dig him.
Well, here's the thing with Maul that the show doesn't get into, from what I can see. But in the comics, he can shrink down and just look normal, like look like a human being.
Oh, so like instead of a giant like monstrous Hulk form, he's just got like a dude form.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The thing with him is he's actually a really brilliant scientist. But
As all giant hulking monster
but
guys are.
and when he like expands into his cherubim form, the bigger he gets, the dumber he gets, basically.
Oh, so he can kind of choose how much like intelligence he's sacrificing when he gets big.
Yeah.
That's cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Is there ever any danger of him becoming so dumb he's just like a giant monster that attacks everything?
I think at one point that did actually happen, and he got stuck in that form.
And I was gonna say, I was like, reading between the lines, I feel like that would be a plot.
Yeah, I feel like that happened. It's been a long time since I read the comics, but
There's also like an AI. She reminds me of like the robot from Mass Effect.
yeah, her name is Void. She is
Is she a person or just like a construct?
she's a robot.
That's cool. She's the one that makes the portals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's an ancient cherubim like AI system, if I remember correctly.
Cherubim being the like an ancient alien.
Oh, yes. I didn't actually explain. So the Wildcats are from a race of aliens called the Cherubim. Now, eons ago, a Cherubim ship crashed, like hundreds of years ago, crashed on, or thousands, can't remember. But anyway, so
Long ass time ago.
Cherubim ship crashed on Earth and they ended up getting stuck there. And they started breeding with humans. And over time, like their cherubim nature kind of became suppressed. But what the leader of the Halo Corporation, the businessman in this episode, Jacob Marlowe.
Great character.
Yeah. He's not so great in the comics, but they definitely make him out to be a better dude in the cartoon.
Oh, I don't necessarily mean likable. I mean like I understand his niche and like his role in the show, and it's well implemented.
So basically, the cherubim are like everyone who is like a descendant of like cherubim aliens breeding with humans has latent superpowers. They're basically mutants.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so they all have latent superpowers, and Jacob Marlowe, with the help of Void, ends up recruiting people and like finding people and like helping them like unlock their like ancient alien powers. The exception to this is Zealot. Zealot is actually just an old ass cherubim who has stayed on Earth this whole time. And Spartan, who is an android.
Oh, is that why they talk like ancient and mystical?
Yeah, she is a member of a like war or like a like team of warriors called like religious warriors called the Coda.
Oh,
Hence
do
why her
they
name is
live a
Zelda.
long time?
They do, yeah.
Okay.
They live like centuries.
Yeah, interesting. Good
Um,
premise. I'm not going to fill up the intro time with um, asking you questions, but I will say this, and this is a plus for it. Normally with comics and stuff, I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, like whatever the origin is. I have a lot of questions about a lot of the characters, and that's a good thing, right?
Sweet.
Like this, what was the robot? The
Well,
robot
the
woman.
leader of the team, Spartan, he's a robot.
Oh, he is too.
He is, yeah.
Oh
He
shit.
he's a cherubim like android who his personality is based on someone who was alive at one point, and these robots there are numerous models of Spartan robots. They're designed to like constantly have this guy's like consciousness like downloaded and re-uploaded whenever one of them is destroyed.
Huh. Must have been a cool dude.
Yeah,
Um,
he was a like legendary like warrior
oh, that's cool.
on the
Oh,
planet Kara.
interesting. So he died like forever ago, but they keep like his like morality and personality and leadership around by having like these advanced like androids
Yeah.
uh uploaded uh like his like essence, his personality into them. That's neat.
Mhm.
And I'm guessing that's what that floating robot chick is. She's a cherubim
She, like I said,
robot.
she's like an AI type system.
I noticed she would just like hack into things and be like transferring money into account, or like she, man, it's a good character. Someone that can just be like done and like be like, man, that would take me like 5 minutes on my phone now. And I'm in 2025. I'm not even in the mid 90s.
Um, so yeah, those are the Wildcats. Pictured behind me, there's another character right there. That is Mr. Majestic. He is not in this episode of the cartoon, but
There's also a chick with goggles.
he's a big part of the comics. Yeah, I'm not sure who she is actually,
Oh,
but whatever. I'm getting turned around
somewhere
here.
behind. Yeah. So yeah, those are the Wildcats. They're heroes, not zeros. And
Here's the facts. We got power to the max.
those are the facts. I don't make it up. It's funny because who is it? Grifter. His like ammo belt or character design or whatever. He's got like a black shirt with the green trench coat over top,
Yeah.
and then just enough you could see some like arm like in there before his gloves come up. Right? He's got like an X like a cross, and it's very like Cyclopsy or X-Men like design. And I
Yeah.
almost feel like that's a fuck you. You don't own an X. Do you know what I mean?
Probably, yeah. I'm sure it
Right.
was intentional.
Right. And then he's got like two belts going down, and I'm like, oh, maybe Grifter started the two belts trend. Was that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I don't know. I'm sure somebody in the 70s or 60s or whatever was like, hold up, look at this, two belts. Ooh, huh?
So those are the Wildcats. Basically, their mission is there is another race of beings that they're at war with, the Daemonites, who are led by the evil Hellspawn. Now, the thing with
Good
Daemonites,
character design.
oh
on
yeah,
that guy.
he's cool, yeah. The thing with the Daemonites is they can possess other beings, human beings in particular, in this show. In this show,
Can they not possess anyone with like the alien ancestry? Is that why the Wildcats can't be possessed?
yeah, I don't think they can possess Carabim or Carabim
Ah,
descendants, but they can possess humans.
interesting.
Now, in something to note about Voodoo, later on in the episode, we see that she's able to extract a Daemonite out of a character. She is half.
They literally go in them. She's half what?
She is the result of like genetic engineering to basically like create like a carabim daemonite hybrid.
Oh, so she's not human. She's actually a hybrid of the two aliens, kind of.
Kind of. She is also human too.
Little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Half human, half daemonite, half Pirates of the Caribbean. Got it.
Got it. And folks, I just want to say, I'm going entirely by memory. I read all these comics like 30 years ago. So
come at him is what he's saying.
So some things
come at him in the comments.
If someone did come at me with the comments on our review of Ed, and Eddie.
Oh shit! Was it YouTube? I need to go check it out.
Yeah, you should go check it out. This guy got pretty salty with us.
Speaking of, since this is the episode following the Ed, and Eddie episode, I completely and confidently screwed up 2 of the Eddies.
Oh.
Eddie is the bad guy one, and just Ed is the dumb one. And I had very confidently said the other way around all review. No fucks given.
No Ed's
I think it was
forgiven.
actually Jared that was like, oh, you mixed up these like 2 Eds or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm never watching that show again. Like,
yeah, that's kind of my reaction too. When it was pointed out that we mixed up which Ed was which, I'm just like, okay.
And we're not, even though we give we give a rating on something, right? We're not unbiased like critics. Like this is the show. There's 100 episodes of us seeing if we like or don't like something. There's millions of people that probably love the things that we've like shit on. What I've encountered is there are also people that just like everything. There are people out there that don't dislike anything.
Yeah, I don't understand that existence.
What a peaceful life that must be, right?
I can't remember if I mentioned it on this show or if I mentioned it on like our Patreon exclusive podcast, the Super Lazor Comb Patreon Super Show, or Too Much Energon or something. But I had a roommate around the time the first Ghost Rider movie came out. And he was a big
what a sentence.
he was a big Ghost Rider fan. Not a very bright guy either, but
he was a comics Ghost Rider fan.
Yeah, he was a fan of the comics. He liked the movie too. But
it was a movie.
It certainly was a movie. I actually like that second one more just because of how unhinged Nicolas Cage is in it.
I watched that because of your this is like a decade ago, people, because of Christopher recommendation. I was like, wow, they just took all the reins off and they were like, just fucking go nuts.
Yeah. So it's not a good movie, but I like it more than the first one because of that. But yeah, so this roommate of mine, around the time the first Ghost Rider movie came out, there was also a movie game that came out.
Oh God, yes.
On PS2.
There sure was.
This was at a time where like basically every hit movie had a movie tie-in game. I'm glad that trend kind of died.
And let me tell you, not a single fucking one was good. Oh, there was a Hulk game that was good, but that was like the rare gem.
That Hulk game wasn't tied to a movie though. Incredible Hulk: Ultimate Destruction.
No, it wasn't.
No, that was just a Hulk game.
That wasn't a movie game. So that no, you're right. That wasn't.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, this roommate, that Ghost Rider game was terrible. I played a little bit of it.
Unfortunately, so had I.
Unfortunately. So this roommate of mine, he really liked video games.
Uh-oh.
He really liked Ghost Rider.
Really liked the movie.
You give him a Ghost Rider video game, and he was happy as a clam. There was nothing wrong with the game to him. He had no
10 out of 10, no notes.
he had no like critical thinking toward that game whatsoever. It was a video game, and he got to play as Ghost Rider. So
Imagine.
It was the best thing ever.
Imagine Being able to live life as a human with the brain of a dog. Right? Like you see food, you're happy. You see friend, you're happy. You see Ghost Rider PS2 video game based on the movie, you're happy. You're happy.
That's all it takes. I'm telling you.
That's the secret to happiness. Live life as if you were a dog.
The secret
do
to
dogs
happiness.
do dogs worry about taxes? No.
Rest my case.
I rest my case.
Anyway, so I don't think I have anything else to preface this about.
Yeah, that's the gist. We got aliens. There's good aliens. There's bad aliens. Wildcats are trying to stop the bad aliens.
And they're heroes, not zeros.
And they're heroes, not zeros. But yeah, Black Razor's Edge.
So the episode opens up at like a military Air Force base that gets attacked by
Those stinking daemons.
by some daemonites who have a transformer. Apparently, their vehicle that they arrive in transformed into a robot.
Yeah, and their getaway vehicles exploded because they're like, stop them from getting away. But then they get away by going on the transformer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So they
what were they after? They were after a super laser.
They were after. We find out after this scene that they were there trying to steal a laser. Or no, it must have been during this scene. I can't remember. But
and they had to destroy the laser rather than letting it fall into the hands of evil.
It was a snap decision made by Grifter in particular to destroy the space laser, rather than let the Daemonites get away with it. So the Wildcats go back to the Halo Corporation HQ, and
The boss has things to say about it.
And to meet their boss, Jacob Marlowe. Marlowe is like bitching them out because he's like,
that was a government funded program. I'm gonna have to transfer them 10 million. And this is funny because like that's kind of nothing. I'm like, wow, only 10 million for a space laser?
Well, there's a running joke throughout this scene too, because Void tells him that it was valued at $12 million, and he's
keeps correcting him.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna have to send the government $8 million, and she's like, 12 million, sir. I'm gonna have to send the government $10 million. 12 million. Oh, all right.
And it's like, you have any idea how long it takes me to make $10 million? 12 million, sir. And it's 7.5. He's like 7.5 minutes. But that's not the point. Or 15 minutes or something like that. And I'm like, oh man.
And he's chastising Grifter, being like, oh, you had no right to do that. And Spartan tries stepping in and being
the principal,
being like, well, the mission was my responsibility. Like I should, I was in command. And Jacob's like, no, Grifter is like, I'll this is on me.
This is such a, I'm just a bad cop. The voice actors had fun. Like, he literally talks like this.
Yeah, he talks like a gruff action hero.
Yeah,
that was.
I don't have to stand here and take this. Don't walk away from me.
I'm just doing my job.
I'm just doing my job. And he walks away.
I find it really funny because, Jacob is like saying, like, oh, like this. That it was very irresponsible, and Grifter just starts like really projecting and putting words in his mouth in a way that
you sound just like my dad. Yeah, there's a lot of projection, and he's like, I don't need to be like chewed out by my parents or anything like that. What's next? You'll yell at me for cleaning my room.
Yeah. What, you want to tell me I'm irresponsible? That I'm a complete fuck up? That, I can't even hold down a job, and I'm a total like fucking loser. Is that what you're
It'll
saying?
never amount to anything, and I'll live in my big brother's shadow for the rest of my life. Is that what you're trying to tell
And
me?
Jacob's like, whoa, hold on there, buddy. That's not what I was saying at all. He's like, I'll show you. You don't get to talk to me that way.
And I'll show my big brother too. And then, oh god, what's her name? Sword Lady.
Zealot.
Follows him out. I'm not sure if there's a thing between those two, but he's
is.
in his like civvies, right? And he's like going down. I'm like, man, this guy looks cool. And he's like got his glasses on.
There was a thing with them.
Oh, okay.
They still love each other, but they're
Realize that they couldn't. Yeah, I get it, because she puts her like hands on his chest,
yeah.
and is like, you must patch things up between your brother, otherwise it will. And I'm like, I think it was my partner that was all like, man, like they can spend $12 million on a laser, which they remake in 2 days. So another unrealistic thing. It's just like, oh, come on, that would take like 5 different companies like 15 years to make. But but this is a comic book universe. And she's like, you need to go, and instead of recommending therapy, is like, go and find your brother. So he's like, maybe I will.
Yeah, and the reason specifically why she's giving him this pep talk about like how he can't carry this anger around with him is because even though the Coda are an all women like religion, she has been teaching Grifter like the ideas,
their ways,
the ways of the Coda to try and help him deal with his like trauma. I don't know if they get into it too much in the cartoon, but that's what it was like in the comics.
And indeed, this is hilarious. Instead of using fake places, time to go back to my home, New Jersey. And the way New Jersey is depicted in this made me fucking laugh so much. So he goes to the mean streets of New Jersey, and it's nighttime. The street lights are flickering. Every single building is dilapidated.
Yeah.
And boarded up. And the windows like are all smashed. And I'm like, wow. So okay, so the creators feel a certain way of New Jersey. Huh?
Yeah, someone doesn't like New Jersey.
That was pretty funny. And what else? We find out that the government is remaking the laser. The super laser. I think it's just called the super laser. But they're making it in a secret location. They make it in like a couple days. It's wild. And they're like, oh, nobody will find it now. Now, the Daemonites operate under the guise that they're just like an Earth organization, right? And we find out that Grifter's brother is in like the military or something, because conveniently Grifter took off his mask during that first mission in the episode.
Yeah.
And they're like, pause, enhance, and they bring it up in a hollow thing, and it's like, wait a second, that's my brother. And so we meet Grifter's brother.
Yeah, what was his name? His name was Max Cash, wasn't it? Because Grifter's name is Cole Cash. I feel like I remember laughing.
It was something like that
about his brother's name. Because like Cole Cash is kind of funny because it just makes me think of like
Cold Hard Cash.
Yeah, and I think his brother's name was like Max Cash.
Which is funny because he's the good one. He's the one that joined the military and the police and made a name for himself, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, permission to pursue, sir. And his reporting officer is revealed to be in cahoots with the Daemonites, because he's reporting directly to Big Boss Skullflame.
Big Boss Skullflame. Hellspawn.
And he takes off his like beret, and he's got a triangular thing on his head, which we later find out is a sticker. Which
in the show, it's like it's like a marker that someone is a Daemonite. which I
That
find
they're
fun
possessed.
that they're possessed by a Damonite, which I find hilarious because later on in the episode he just takes it off like a sticker.
Like it actually rips.
Yeah.
He just, so what I'm wondering is, do they wear them because it helps them communicate or identify each other, or is it just like for fun?
I think it's just a visual cue for for the cartoon, just
For
so
the for the viewer to know that these guys are possessed.
yeah.
And one thing I wanted to point out, possessed, not like a spirit is like controlling him or they're controlling his mind. The Damonites in their like feral, like animal like form are these like green, like monster like thingies. They literally like jump in them. Like
Yeah.
they literally turn themselves into energy and are like inside of them.
Yeah, they like phase into people.
Yeah, phase into people. And later on, we see that get ejected out of him, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Because this giant like green, like it doesn't even speak English. It just seems like a feral monster like runs away when he's like depossessed, unpossessed.
I was actually during that scene. I was wondering. I was like, "Huh? I wonder what Cal's gonna think of this, not having any idea like what's going on."
I was like, "What the fuck?" Like for a second, I thought it was kind of like something was put on them and they were mind controlled,
Yeah. Like,
or
what?
that's how they communicated to like head base. No, that's just how they signal to the audience that they're possessed.
Yeah,
And it
actual
wasn't like
big
a
green
dude
monsters.
it wasn't a dude that like came out and was like, you found my true form and like ran away. No, it's like a fucking like demon monster that like ran off and it jumped back into like the shuttle or the submarine or
They kind of
whatever
look
they
like
were.
hunters from Resident Evil.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, like the bulky. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was like not scary. Like I was scared, but I was like, holy shit, that's not what I was expecting.
yeah.
So the gist of the episode is his brother finds out he's Coal Cash is visiting
Visiting
New Jersey.
And so he asks his boss, who is possessed by the Damonite. He doesn't know this, but he's like, permission to lead this mission myself. No one knows Coal Cash better than I do. And his boss is like, you got it. So Coal Cash,
But
like,
only on the condition that you destroy the wild cats.
he's
And
like,
I love there's a
with
scene
pleasure.
and he's like with pleasure. And as he disappears, it's like he can't even wait. Like I like shows where villains like laughing, right? Right. He turns around and takes off his beret, revealing the triangle sticker.
yeah.
And on the screen, Skeleton Man comes up and he's like, good. And he doesn't suspect a thing. His own brother will kill him. And they both laugh for what feels like 30 seconds. Like, and not just like the skeleton, like both of them, like arms in the air, like Skeletor laughing. And I'm like, that's the thing why villains are cooler. They can laugh, they have fun. The only time good guys are allowed to laugh is at the end of an episode when everything's coming together and the camera is zoomed out so it can show all of them.
And something like some bit of like slapstick comedy happens, like a character like slips and falls or something.
Or it's kind of like, geez, I think it would have been cheaper if you had just stuck to stealing. Is that,
Yeah.
is that the last one? And everyone's like,
Yeah.
I think that was the joke. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the joke, yeah.
So I can see the style of the artist, like broad-shouldered, like cool jacket, like squared silhouette, right? Like both Cole and Max are like man's men, like not afraid to throw a punch. And as we see, Cold Cash goes to this is funny. My partner pointed out he goes to Billards.
Billards.
There's no I.
Yeah.
And in the second part, it goes to Billards, and she's like, "Hey, there's no I." later there is the ice.
Oh, is there?
Different. Yeah. So he goes to Billards, and she pointed that out. I'm like, oh, maybe it's a play on like words. And he goes in, and it's a seedy bar. So apparently, it's not completely destitute and uninhabited. Jersey.
And this is where I actually like laughed out loud for the first time in the episode. So Cole goes up to the bar and asks the bartender. He's like, "Hey, I'm looking for Max Cash. Is he around here?" And the bartender is like, "Hey, aren't you Cole Cash?" And he's like, "Who's asking?" He's like, "You ripped me off for $50 like 8 years ago." And Cole Cash is like, "Well, hard to say. I ripped off a lot of people." And another guy comes up behind him and is like, "Hey!" And he's like him, for instance.
Like this guy. And then he goes to tackle him because he comes up behind him and he's like, "Hey, Cole Cash." Like this guy. And he goes to tackle him and he misses and flies behind the bar. And then the bartender like slams a baseball bat onto the bar and then goes to swing. This is the funniest shit ever. He goes to swing and Cole Cash grabs the bat and uses the momentum of the swing
Yeah.
to throw him across the room and out the window like 50 feet. And then the other guy like follows. And then he leaves wearing his mask. And I'm like, why are you wearing the mask now? They know who you,
Yeah.
they know who you are. And it's shown cameras in the streets. Speaking of dystopian Jersey, it shows like at least there's cameras, which is how his brother manages to cash him. And then, man, let me tell you, nobody actually gets hit by any bullets or lasers in this show. The most inaccurate shit ever.
You mentioned the cameras being dystopian. You're starting to actually see that IRL nowadays.
Like actually every intersection.
Like,
yeah.
just like,
and not
just,
pointed towards the cars.
yeah.
Like just my favorite 3 cameras like pointing in like 3 different directions. And I'm like, yes. If I was a mutant, I'd have like tech powers like EMP, and I just like fuck up like cars and cameras and I don't know, casino machines.
Make some money.
Make some money.
Be a grifter, if you will.
But instead of just like shooting things and having a cool voice, I'd have tech powers.
Yeah.
I don't even really know what they are, but something to do with like EMPs or machines.
The name's Pierce. Aiden Pierce.
Oh, I liked that first game a lot.
Yeah, I did too. I never finished it, but my favorite thing to do in that game was to, while I was driving, hack traffic lights to make people crash into one another.
My favorite thing to do was invade people's games multiplayer.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Spy on them. Hide and go seek.
Yeah.
Without and they don't technically, they might not know until like the game reveals that they're being hacked. Fun times.
Got to walk around and pretend to be an NPC.
Pretend to be an NPC, right? Or just hide behind a dumpster or somewhere you think you might not find. And then when they find you, it's like, get out of there, compromise. Then you just have to get away. Watch Dogs, I'm telling you. But the thing is, like, that dies down as like those games get older, because then there's not people playing them. So like, if you didn't play them when they came out, like maybe every once in a while, like I don't know how it works. I know it's the host. It was like hosted on your end, right? So if you were playing single player and you had that connected, they could join your game and you were the host, which also sucked because the people in the top 10, if I ever invaded them, they would just pull their Ethernet cable out, get disconnected, not lose any points. You wouldn't gain any points, and they'd plug it back in. You pieces of shit. That should count as a loss. And I'm like, oh, that's how they're in the top 10. And then they'd send me messages.
That reminds me
like,
of
you're the one that cheated, you fucking loser.
That reminds me of router switching in Halo 2.
Yeah. Or like leg switching, where you just enough to when you were the host, man. There you go. That's how you know how old we are. Look up what leg switching means. Uh, but anyways, back to there's a long ass gunfight
There's a
between
big
him and his
gunfight.
brother. The military comes, they're shooting at him too. And then we find out back at HQ that the government's not only finished their super giant big laser, but it's out in the middle. Is it Louisiana? It's somewhere where there's a swamp.
It's New Jersey.
Are there lots of swamps in New Jersey? I know nothing about it.
I
Apparently,
don't either.
it's swamps and destitute and well. Anyways, when he leaves the bar, it now says billiards instead of billards. I thought that was really funny.
So the Hellspawn and the Damonites inside their ship, the Behemoth, which hides out underwater. Somehow they find out that the space laser, the new space laser, is complete, and so Hellspawn is like, "Come, my Damonites, we are going to New Jersey."
To New Jersey. I laughed at that part too. Because there's like a commercial break, and he's like, "We're going to New Jersey."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's nothing there apparently, but a giant laser. And there's a cut to like two scientists that are like testing it to see if it works. Oh, Hellspawn has a little miniature laser and a miniature mountain on his desk, and he like turns it on it's like a prototype. It's like and it shoots and it cuts the styrofoam mountain in half, and he's like, good. And I'm like, he's playing with models, imagining what he's gonna do with like this giant laser, and then later he gets angry and smashes.
Now, do we know exactly why the Damonites want the space laser?
They want the super laser because it's going to be the most powerful laser on Earth.
Okay.
Imagine what you could do with a super laser.
I think they want to dig with it to get the orb, which is the MacGuffin in this show that the Damonites that Hellspawn is after, and I think it's like buried deep underground or something.
Heaven forbid we use drilling equipment.
So he wants the laser to like cut into the earth to reclaim the orb. I think that's. I think
that's what lasers are used for, right?
Right.
Famously known for digging holes in the ground.
So we get Marlowe and Void figure out that the Damonites are headed toward New Jersey to grab the laser, and she mentions something about how their over-eagerness is giving away their position through the Behemoth's cloaking system.
And you know what? I'll give them this. Usually there's always a trap for the heroes. They have actually set the trap for the Damonites.
Yeah.
Because they expected this, and they're planning to intercept them and stop them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So they're
the problem is Spartan doesn't want to go until they go and find where Grifter is.
Yeah, so Void summons all of the Wildcats. They all show up except Grifter, and they're like, "Hey, where's Grifter?" And Void is like, let me find him." And then
her access to to early concept Google Maps.
Pretty much, yeah. And then she figures out where he is and that he's like fighting. He's engaged in battle.
Grifter seems to be preoccupied.
Now, the Wildcats portal in. That's one of the things Void can do. She can create portals.
Thank God.
They portal in, and they meet up with Grifter right away. And instead of all of them just being like, "Okay, let's go,"
and go back through the
portal. For some reason, they decide to fight the military.
To stay and fight the military. And Maul punches down one of the buildings. And billionaire boss guy is like, "Oh, that's going to have to come out of... I'm going to have to write a check for that too." Also of its time, writing checks. Yeah. And I'm like... a dilapidated building, like unless it had like people in it, which who knows, maybe there's like 20 unhoused people like in it, like doing the city a service. Like it usually costs money for demolitions, so you should be thanking the Wildcats. But yeah, they stay and fight the military.
For some reason, instead of just going grabbing Grifter and going back through the portal.
Maybe they're one way, and there's a cooldown on the portals.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
You have to wait 5 minutes before you make another portal, and they're only one way. Yeah. So he's like, it's mauling time, and he mauls a building.
He mauls a building. A big fight.
Well, look out, he mauling.
Big fight happens.
I like how he tricks his brother. Fucking dick. He's like, okay, take me in, because he gives up. He's like, don't try any funny business. And then he tries funny business.
Yeah, he's like, his brother is like, you could never beat me, Cole. I'm better than you. And
taller, bigger dick, always won in a fight, make more money than you.
Hotter
Come on, just give it up. Hotter babes.
And the entire team is just like, have you looked at Zealot? Like, really, dude? I'm gonna need to see some proof there.
I'm gonna need see some proof there. And he's like, oh, they're all the hot babes are from Canada. They're just not here right now. And then Grifter's like, hiya, and like very like Star Trek original series or comic booky in general, the upward like axe handle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, sure, I guess that can knock someone out. And he hits him in the chin and knocks him out, and he grabs his brother and he's like, haha. And then all the military or police, oh, it was a trick, stop him. And they start shooting at him. But Max is in the ship with them. And then they pursue them as they're going to the laser site.
Well,
they pursue them in the air and continue shooting missiles and lasers at the Wildcats. And I'm like, but they're commanding officers in there.
Well, that's the thing is, so.
Oh, the Sarge, right.
His boss shows up and he's like, fire on that ship. The ship, by the way, which was sent by Marlowe because I can't remember why, but Void couldn't create a new portal to bring them back. There was like something interfering.
Yeah, there we go.
So they send a ship to pick them up, and Cole takes his brother with him for some reason onto their ship, and
kind of like a hostage, but also just hey, we need to talk things out.
Yeah. And so they take off, eh? I do like all the screens showing that's like, counter missiles like shooting, and like the lasers that shoot out, and the shaft like that like disperses to prevent it. Like they've got a lot of anti-missile like defense like systems going off. Very clearly labeled. I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
So his boss shows up and is like, fire on that ship. And army guy is like, but sir, the major or whatever he was, is on there. And
Major
he's like,
Cash is on there.
He's like, I gave you an order. And he's like, all right. Then he pushes a button that is labeled in big letters, missile.
Mm-hmm. Well, you need to know which buttons shoot the missiles. I'm pretty sure that's how fighter jets operate. There's a big button with missile over it.
It's the only button in the shot too that's labeled.
It's labeled. Everything else is just like a panel of like square buttons.
Yeah, but this one just has like a big letters on top of it, missile.
That's so that the viewer knows that they're pressing the button that says missile. But no other way could we have known missiles were coming.
Even though he had just said, fire the missiles.
So they can't stop them in the air, and they get to the missile site. There's some banter between the scientists, and there's like a military police guy with like a gun there. and they're all like making jokes, and they're like, "Oh, success! Yeah, we did it." And the military police officer's like, "Hey, like, keep it down. Like, I'm glad that you nerds like figured your laser out, but this is top secret." And they're like, "We're in the middle of nowhere. Like,
What could
what's
possibly happen?
what could possibly happen? A submarine comes through the swamp, and then a submarine, I guess, comes out of the swamp.
And wouldn't you know it?
You know those
oh,
very deep
I was just gonna
oceans
say, those very deep swamps, like
that they're known for? Go,
big enough to house a submarine.
yes, the marshlands known for the infiltration of submarines. So a submarine comes out of the swamp, and they're like, "Haha, the laser's ours for the picking." But the trap didn't work because they're late. They're late picking up Grifter Man.
Yeah.
But they come almost in time because they are apparently mounting the laser on the submarine slash airship. It's multiple. It's multi-purpose. And this is when they decide. Sorry, before they had landed, there's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, between Grifter and Max.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, listen, yada yada." And after a commercial break, he's like, "So you're telling me that aliens are here and they're like fighting blah blah blah?" And he's like, "Yeah, excuse me for not believing you." And he's like, "Well, Max, in the very least, will you believe that we're trying our best to defend the Earth from a force that wants to do it harm?" And he's like, "That I can get behind."
Yeah, he's like, even if you can't, putting aside all the alien stuff, will you at least believe that we've got to stop those guys from stealing that
And he
laser?
points out the window, and there's very clearly villains and robots like stealing a government asset. And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, that I can believe." And so he joins up with them. And he's got like a laser gun, and
To me, my Wildcats.
to me, my Wildcats.
Also, I'm not 100%, like, not 100% because I haven't actually checked it, but I think the guy who plays the like Damonite like commander guy, the army commander guy, I think it might be the same dude who voices Magneto in X-Men.
Oh, curious.
I'm gonna double check that one.
And as he comes out, he's like, "Sir, and men," because all the military are there too. He's like, "Oh, right now we need to redirect our focus from the Wildcats and stop those terrorists from stealing the super laser." But the general's like, "Halt, do not listen to what he says." And it's like, but sir, this is my operation." "Not anymore. You're part of the enemy now." And he points a gun at Max, and he's like, what's going on?" And then who's the psychic chick?
Void.
Yeah. Oh, it's Void.
Or no. Sorry, Voodoo.
Sorry, yeah, Voodoo. She like magics the Damonite out of him, and that's when like the snarling green like scary ass fucking monster runs out, and it's like, "Wow, wow," and they're like, "Quick, shoot it!" And it just like dodges, but nothing's ever hit by lasers or bullets in this. And he runs, and he goes and he jumps onto the submarine with the rest, and they're getting away. Do they fly away, or do they swim away? Or I can't quite remember, but
The Damonites, they swim away.
they swim away. And the Sarge, who is now like demon free, is like, "Okay, team up with the Wildcats and we're going after them. That is, if it's okay with you, sir." And then the general or whatever like stands up and like pulls the sticker off, like we had mentioned, and is like, "That sounds fine with me. Let's get him."
I was right. It is the voice of Magneto. His name is
Good ear.
David Hemblin.
Yeah, good ear. And so this is refreshing. It actually shows like the military, like, you know, G.I. Joe like guys teaming up with the Wildcats and landing on the submarine, of which the super laser is already affixed to.
Yeah.
And they're fighting all the bad guys, and some of them are falling off. And my favorite is the psychic chick. Instead of just grabbing and throwing a rope to Maul, he falls off, loses his balance, or gets knocked off, and she goes wee 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 wee, and psychically grabs the rope and drops it into the water for him. And I'm like, you okay? I guess if everything looks like a nail, if all you have is a hammer. I thought that was the funniest fucking shit ever. Like she could have just walked up and like threw it off, but no. Some people almost fall. Cole gets caught by like Max, and it's like, you're not out of this yet. And then Space Skeletor aims the super laser at the Wildcats and the rest of the military and is like, haha, now it's time you die. And it's powering up, and all of them are like, no. And I thought something big or bad was going to happen. They just shoot the laser and blow it up before it fires.
Yeah. And yeah, so they destroy it again for the second time. So this is now, so Jacob Marlowe's out another 12 million, and this is where he makes the joke. He's like, "Oh, I think it would I think it would have cost. I think it was more affordable when you were just
stealing money."
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were just stealing money. I can't remember the exact line, but it's
And all
along those
the
lines.
Wildcats are like, ha 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 ha. And there's some wisdomous moments between Voodoo and, or not Voodoo, the other chick with the sword and
Zealot.
there we go. I always forget that. Zealot saying that, oh, it's good that you and your brother are on terms, but also that they are starting, like, the Earth forces are starting to understand that there are aliens like on the planet.
Oh, and Cole and his brother make amends.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, I like that. And there's a scene where it's like, it shows like Space Skeletor, like dejected, like sitting in his throne after the explosion inside the submarine. He's like, Damonites, fall back. The space laser's been destroyed. And he looks so sad. And he looks so sad and dejected. And I'm like, oh, buddy.
Buddy, there's gonna be another evil scheme.
Yeah, and it's established too. It's like the government's put a hold on the super laser because it keeps, terrorists keep trying to steal it. So they put a hold on that for now. And that's the resolution to that. No more super laser. Which makes Space Skeletor sad.
Interestingly enough, I'm on the IMDb page. This is the top-rated episode of the show. I guess we did land on a good one.
We landed on a good one.
Well,
and indeed, that's the episode.
Well, Cal, you just caught a random episode of Jim Lee's Wildcats Covert Action Teams to the Extreme Super HD Turbo Remix.
DVD rep.
dot AVI.
.avi.
Would you tune in next time?
I would. This was shockingly good.
Yeah, I think
even though it's the animation, I'm like, is this missing some frames? Like, there's not a lot of animation like budget going here, but no, they get the points across. There's some interesting action scenes. They move the plot around physically as well. Like we visited New Jersey, home of dilapidated buildings, billards, and super lasers, and swamps. And it's the dialogue for me.
Written by Bob Forward, the man himself. I could definitely see the Beast Wars-esque comedy. Like I could with how funny, like laugh out loud funny this show was at times. I'm like, yeah, the fact that it's written by one of the co-creators of Beast Wars, that makes sense.
Right. But yeah, I ended up Oh man, and sometimes what you see is what you get. It's like I don't need to know everybody's like backstory. I have questions, which makes me more intrigued. They bring up an issue, his family, right? Multiple issues, like the military not believing them, the military being compromised with an alien,
Yeah.
and bring in his brother. And not only is that dealt with, and he resolves things with his brother, but like that compromised position is has been dealt with too. And the government will stop trying to make super lasers for now.
Hmm.
Like it's and because we're not going to quote every piece of dialogue, there's some good like heart to heart talks between Zealot and Grifter. And I don't know, I was like very surprised that that a cartoon that's meant to kind of be X-Men-ish was as deep as it was, despite being complex and a lot happening.
Yeah, yeah.
What you see is what you get, and I think that simplifies the plot being so complex. No, complex isn't the right word. You know what I mean? Like a lot is happening,
Yeah, yeah. There's
but it's resolved. Like it never forgets earlier parts. It's like space laser, aliens bad, aliens want the next space laser, we stop them. Yeah, I really liked it.
sweet.
How
Yeah.
about yourself? I'm guessing. Oh, maybe yes.
The show is only 13 episodes that are like 20 minutes long each. Yeah, why not? I think I might actually go back and watch all of this. I definitely enjoyed it. The fact that it got it got me to laugh like out loud at it a couple of times in the episode at things that are supposed to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Some things that weren't supposed to be. Well, maybe they were supposed to be funny. I thought it was funny that the Billards building.
and like Wildcats in general, like it's very much like a riff on X-Men, but and unlike X-Men, like X-Men has X-Men deals with like a lot of themes of like you know subjugation and
Yeah.
like racism, bigotry.
Acceptance, the perils of revenge,
Uh,
right? Like, yeah,
yeah,
an eye for an eye makes
like
the whole world blind. Yeah.
the like moral the moral dilemma of like like the main hero Professor X and the main villain Magneto, like wanting the same thing but having very different methods of going about it. X-Men's got a lot on its mind. Wildcats doesn't really, but that's okay.
But that's okay. Yeah.
Like it's a more simplified like take on like it's clearly inspired by X-Men. Like you can like just look at them, but it's
Aliens here. Aliens bad. Stop aliens.
yeah, stop aliens. The show is definitely not anywhere near as dark or complex as I remember the comic being.
And that usually tracks. That's usually the case for any comic to cartoon.
Yeah,
Not
and
always, but
like in the comics there was like not full on nudity, but there was close to. Like
more sexualized, huh?
Voodoo used to be a stripper.
Oh my.
And yeah, at one point in the comic, they end up, which is around when I was reading it actually, the team ends up leaving Earth to go to the planet Kara, and they find out some like bad things about Caribbean society. There's a lot of there's a lot of like social inequality going on. which kind of divides the team because, like, like Zealot, a member of the Coda, and Jacob Marlowe, who is like uh, are treated as members of high society, and like the rest of the team, particularly Voodoo, are kind of treated like second class citizens, which kind of breaks the team up. And meanwhile, back on Earth, Mr. Majestic forms a new team of Wildcats. And instead of like being focused on like fighting the Daemonites, they essentially just become like crime fighters.
Well, as the
Anyway.
scale shifts, when there are no more bad guys to fight, you end up kind of like, like Batman. Like he pursues leads and stuff, but he's still out there just like punching like petty thieves. Like you break into a car and like the car alarm goes off and you make away with the radio, and Batman's like, well, I'm not doing anything else.
First they came for the Daemonites, and I said nothing. Then they came for the humans, and I said nothing. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to say anything.
And that was Wildcat.
It's Wildcats. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB. Starting at the $5 tier, you get our bonus weekly Patreon exclusive podcast, the Super Lasercomb Patreon Super Show. $10 tier, you can pick a show for us to review a random episode of on this podcast. And at $10 tier, you also get the occasional commentary track. I think we've done about 17 or 18 of those over the years.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, there's also a $20 tier that lets you not only pick the show, but pick the episode. Takes the randomness out of the equation.
You can land on a good one, like today.
Yeah. Although this one was at random. So if you want to get in on that, go to patreon.com/lasercomb. Join our Discord to interact with us. Link in the description, as always. And follow us on Blue Sky, TikTok. Links in the description for that as well. We'll be back next week, where we're going to be covering The Max, because we're going in chronological order of release of these shows. So this show premiered in '94. The Max premiered in early '95. Savage Dragon premiered later in '95, and Todd McFarlane's Spawn premiered in '97. So that's the order we're going to be going in. So to figure out what episode of The Max, which I remember watching, I'm not really familiar with the comic at all, but I remember watching the show a little bit.
I read some of the comics a little bit, but I watched the show quite a bit. But like the episodes are all jumbled for me, so I can't really piece it together because I didn't like devote like myself to watching.
Right.
And I would just be like, oh shit, this is on.
So I'm going to hit screen share. I'm going to share the screen. The Max had 13 episodes.
Oh, that's it?
Going to go to the random number generator. I think that's it, yeah.
Dang. Huh.
Yeah. One random number between 1 and 13, and here we go. Where it stops, only the Wildcats know. Episode 4. Max chases and is into battle with Mr. Gone. Eventually, Max questions Gone's revelations over a rooftop procedure with Julie, where we begin to understand why Julie is hiding from the truth.
Whoa. Huh.
Okay.
I'm going to pretend that it's procedure and not pedicure that I read.
It is, oh, it's totally pedicure.
Yeah. Oh shit. So he's holding up an issue of Wildcats. It looks like the relaunch of it.
Yeah. So
When was that?
I am holding up the first trade paperback of Wildcats Volume 2, the first volume that was published after Jim Lee sold Wildstorm Productions to DC. This is from 1999.
Dang. Well, there it is.
What a fucking boss move though. So Jim Lee, like, along with the other Image guys, like fucks off on Marvel, starts his own company, and then like 7 years later sells it to DC. But not only that, but not only does he sell Wildstorm to DC, but he also gets a job as their like chief publishing officer or something. He got like a bigwig job at DC Comics in the process. And since then, he's been like Jim Lee's been like drawing Batman and Superman comics over the past couple decades. But
So,
like, what a boss move,
Right? Whereas it kind of seemed like they were just getting thrown under the thrown to the wayside by Marvel.
Yeah. Well, getting exploited, basically.
Or exploited, yeah. That is a boss move.
We'll be back next time with the Max. And until then, I have been Wild Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm NeoCal, your other host.
Thanks for listening. We will pounce on you next week.
It's a wild. They had said something. They were like Wildcats, like it's time to
to roar or something like that.
It's time. They had said it's time to pounce and pound.
Oh,
and I'm like,
pounce and pound.
And I was like, oh yes, as typical of cats are to pounce on things and then pound them. Claws in.
Cats, like famous for just like giving like
for just
closed
punching
pod,
without their
closed pod beatdowns.
Pounce and pound you later.
Well.